Welcome to episode 5 of season 6 of Whole Lot of Wolves. I'm Joshua Buckley with co-host Paul LePage.
Hello there.
On the socials in Baltimore, it's Danny Paletti.
Good evening.
And welcoming back after a little bit of a hiatus, Mr. Alex Patakis on New York City.
Hey, guys.
Alrighty. And speaking of Baltimore, we have our good guest, one of our favorite people to talk to when we're doing opposition previews. It is Alan Llanes from the Toon Army Baltimore. How's it going, Alan?
Pretty good, man. Thanks for having me. Always a pleasure. I kind of forgotten about it. I'm not that I forget about you guys, but I've been a little busy. I've even stepped back on my own podcast, and when I got the email, I was like, oh, look at that. Yeah, let's get on the mic. It's always a good time with you guys. Thanks for having me.
Nice one, Alan. It might be a little early for a relegation battle on Saturday. Well, for Newcastle at least, but it's been 2 draws for you away from home, defeat to Liverpool so far this season. But what's been your early impressions of the team so far?
I hate you. We look like one of the best teams in the league at the moment without a damn striker. We have 2 strikers now, so hopefully that changes some things. But yeah, I think we were a little poor with a little bit of a hangover at Leeds, but we were great at Villa. We were great at home against Liverpool. Got a little crazy, Anthony Gordon. But yeah, we look fine. I'm very content with the way we've played. I'm not really nervous about much at the moment. I'm optimistic, which is I'm usually very not optimistic. So yeah, here we go. Change in attitude, I guess, for me.
Alan, I thought we were friends. I thought, we didn't have any beef with Newcastle. Just, it's going to be a 1-1 draw. Yeah, everybody leaves happy. We're good. Explain yourself. How can you keep coming after our striker when we told you no? No.
Desperation is a stinky cologne, I think is the best way to sum that up. Yeah, I don't know. Not that I think that he's not a talent. I don't think it fit for us, really. I didn't really make any sense. And then once the numbers started climbing, I was like, oh, hell no. So, I'm glad you got to keep him. I'm glad we didn't overspend. Yeah, we were desperate.
How you feel about your reign of terror that you unleashed on all the clubs that were under you? Getting all their strikers upset. Now we're going to have to give JSL a new contract, and he's probably going to want to leave it. We were doing just fine. He was nice and happy, Alan. Nice and happy.
I know it's, blame the league, man. They made it be this way. They could have just let us pay Isak $300K and not penalize us for it, and we'd have been fine. Everybody been hunky dory. Jorgen would have been fine. Wouldn't have been upset. Been having a good time. We'd have been having a good time. Probably have 9 points right now. Nope, that's not how it goes, man. I blame the league, not me, sir.
Yeah,
blame Richard Masters.
That's another interesting question there about blaming the league. Newcastle now backed by the Saudis. How frustrating is it for you guys that you have owners who want to spend money, unlike some teams, and yet you're not allowed to, even though you're in European football? I mean, it just kind of boggles the mind.
I think the more frustrating thing, I think I guess most pragmatic, but not Moni Geordies are pragmatic, if I'm being honest. Love them all to death, but I am a pragmatist, and I would say that really it hasn't been that bad. I kind of expected it. I understood going in. Look, just getting taken over was its own hurdle. We were like, sure, put close up the purse strings. That's fine. We'll just do the slow roll. But we've gotten to a point now where we need at least a little breathing room, and we don't have it. Especially seeing things like Elliot Anderson, who we had to sell last summer to Nottingham Forest to get under PSR, getting an England call up, but playing phenomenally. Geordie, local boy, so that one stings. And I think it's forcing us to kind of trickle it down even further, which is upsetting the whole damn league. And I think there's a larger conversation, right? We can all have about PSR and the way things are going. That's fine if you want to cap us to some extent, but at least let us put.
It's not upsetting Liverpool, that's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's not. But at least let us put Aramco on the damn shirt and give ourselves $1 billion, and then just be done with it. We'll be fine. But it's okay. We're gonna slow roll it. It's starting to make me angrier, but I think we're still a really good side. I think we improved tremendously this summer, all things considered. Yeah, so it's okay. I'm okay. We're still optimistic for now.
So do you think you're optimistic, but you do have the curse of the relegator? Yeah.
Jesus Christ, what a rude nickname. Yeah, I mean, he's not going to see.
I approve. That's fantastic.
Yeah, it is really good. I don't know that he's going to see a lot of time. I don't know what's going to happen there. That was kind of random to me. I don't know why we've been buying goalkeepers the way we have. It's just been kind of a fetish for us. I think Eddie Howe's got a thing, a kink, if you want to call it that. But yeah, he'll get some game time. I think he's there purely as backup. I think he trusts Nick Pope. I was surprised he let Dubravka walk a little easily, but I guess kind of not. Yeah, I'm not too worried about that guy. He's just going to be a fly on the wall, I think. And as I say that, Nick Pope will break his arm or some shit, and there we go. So
that shake-up in attack, Alan also saw Nick Voldermader come through the door, highly regarded, did well in the under-21 Euros this summer. Kind of hard to know what to expect coming through to this weekend, but how do you see that attack forming, and how does it fit within a bigger element of core members of the squad and the team who are going to start on Saturday, regardless of international demands?
I think it's Yoann Wissa is what you're going to get. I think the kid's a talent. He looked a little shaky for leading the line for Germany, but I think that's new for him and kind of a big deal. That's not a little bit of pressure. But I think he's looking at the tape that I've seen. I didn't know much about him prior to getting him, but also I didn't know much about Isak prior to getting him. He looks sort of the same build and in the same vein of Isak. Tall, quick on his feet, good with the ball at his feet. Can kind of work his way around into space. I think he just needs to figure it out a little bit. He's still young. So I think this is another one of those. I think Eddie, over 5 years now, has himself a pretty good pedigree of youngsters he's brought in, and they've sat, some of them, not even youngsters. I mean, Tonali sat for a couple weeks, even into last season, after the suspension was lifted, because he wasn't ready to work him into the side yet. So I think that's what we're going to see more of, is Wissa was going to lead the line, kind of go back to our traditional setup until Nick's ready. I think that's what we're seeing. But who knows? I don't fucking know. No clue, man.
Oh, so what are you thinking this week? You always like to do the 1-1 draws.
I don't feel like I can do it today because I'm sorry, we have to hammer y'all, or at least just win. But we have to get points. We've had a rough start. I love you all, but I'm sorry, it's not a 1-1 this time. I think we're at home. I think we're still pretty pissed off. It's kind of the hornet's nest right now. Yeah, I mean, I'm going 2-1 because we still are Geordies and we fucking suck sometimes.
You just guaranteed I'm rooting for Sunderland later this year.
That's fair. That's understandable. I figured this much.
Now, can we come to an agreement here? We've got a few big name midfielders that are going to be, probably talked about starting in January. Can you leave us the fuck alone?
I mean, I would like to. There's nobody. I mean, not that there's nobody there I would have on my squad, but yeah, I don't know that those are the positions we need to really strengthen in. I mean, he's got his two strikers. I think, JSL's off the table. You are going to have to pay him though. My bad. So that's our bad, guys. But yeah, no, I think you guys are safe. I hope. If it bites me in the ass, don't blame me. Blame Eddie Howe. or his nephew or whoever's doing the scouting now. I don't know.
No,
Bruno Guimaraes will come in for one of his countrymen.
Yeah, there you go. The Brazilian consortium over there.
Don't you dare.
Yeah, you stay away from our beautiful.
You stay away from your Brazilians. That's fair. We say the same about ours, honestly. So, yeah, man. No, I think you're safe. Hopefully, maybe, unless somebody comes in for Tonali for a lot of money.
Ron Burton, I don't believe you.
Fair.
Yeah.
That's all.
Alan, thanks as always. You're one of our favorites. I still remember you on the show. We're gonna get relegated. Then you get bought by a Saudi team, and now you're like, we should kill Wolves.
We're like, yeah.
Nothing like some blood money to get you going.
No, we shouldn't kill you because of that. We should kill you because of the situation after the last 3 weeks. And I just because it's contextual. Keep it contextual, man. It's not personal. Oh man, no, I appreciate it, guys. Always a pleasure. Best of luck this season. I think you'll be fine. I hope you'll be fine. We always hope you'll be fine. But there are 3 worse teams than you. I think I've said this to you guys before. And that feels rude, but there are definitely 3 worse teams than you.
Thank you for your optimism.
Always, man. That's it. Looking up these days. Everybody looking up.
Nice.
Thanks, Alan.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Alan.
See ya.
All right, guys. You heard it from Alan Llanes. He thinks they're gonna try and beat us down. Well, it's gonna be an interesting matchup because we do have a lot of guys coming back from international duty, and Danny will get into that. But what do you think, Paul, the lineup's going to look like?
It's a tricky one, I think, based on Strand-Larsen, his fitness level. Obviously, he didn't travel at all for Norway, so there'll be a doubt there. Miles on the clock of those that have traveled, I think that's going to factor into it. We've potentially got some depth, I suppose, after the showing from the previous game off the bench. So is it a case that he goes for it a little more, knowing how well the likes of Lopez showed up versus Menezes during the last game? I hope that's the case. So I think a lot's got to come down to overall fitness and time that some of the significant players have had elsewhere whilst on international duty.
Now, Danny, what kind of performances have we seen so far in international duty?
Yeah, this international break is a bit of a weird one. First of all, it's just weird that we had one just 3 weeks into the season, and then also a good number of the teams are playing one World Cup qualifier and one friendly, or South Korea were playing just 2 friendlies. Huang wasn't called up. But again, it was just 2 kind of money-making friendlies in the U.S. And so I'm not sure there's much to look into for a lot of these. But the big thing is that, sometimes the games, just by luck, the games that our players are involved in are sort of spread out. But this time, almost every single one of the ones that's traveled is going to play tomorrow as we talk now, but Tuesday the 9th. And so it really depends on where they are. So the one who could already be back by the time you're listening is Krejci, who wasn't even in the squad for the Czech Republic game today on Monday. So that was one of those that was a friendly and not World Cup qualifying. So they may have just completely rotated the squad and he headed home afterwards or something. And by home, of course, I mean Compton. And then the other ones, the ones that are happening Tuesday, a lot of the guys in Africa are going to be done, sort of in the afternoon or the early evening UK time. And so you imagine they can be back at Compton on Wednesday. They probably are doing light training because they've just been on a plane forever, but they're at least back. Whereas the ones who are in the Americas, Arias, Mosquera, Santi Bueno, and John Victor Bellegarde especially, are all playing tomorrow night. Literally, Bellegarde doesn't kick off until 10 p.m. my time tomorrow. So like he's not even done till Wednesday morning in the UK. So I think Wednesday's a complete wash for those in the Americas. And then even they might even be on light training on Thursday. So like that's the real bummer, is that they don't like, they're probably probably restricted to one full training session with the entire team on Friday. But in a way, kind of like alluding to what Paul said, the way that works out for the team is it almost pushes us back to something more familiar. So like unlikely, I would say less likely at least to see Bellegarde in midfield, less likely to see Santi Bueno come in, which he did against Everton. I thought he did okay. But, he's going to have been back, almost 24 hours later than Doc. So if there's ever a time to go with the legs, then Doc, although Doc hasn't had a great time on international duty. Ireland have been struggling. So it might sort of push us back to like the sort of typical team that we expected, at the end of last season.
So, Alex, what are you thinking if JSL can't play? You think we see Arokadare start up front, or is it going to be Hwang still?
I think that's kind of tough. I mean, I think I'm inclined to initially say Hwang just because Tolu's going to be playing. We assume he's going to be playing another match. We can't say for sure that he has, but we would expect him to be in the lineup. He played in Nigeria's last qualifier, scored a goal that many of us saw make the rounds on Twitter or X. So I think if he's got 2 matches in at the break, he's clearly not at confident very much to be able to train and integrate with the squad. I feel like he would be coming off of the bench. So that being said, I feel like it would probably be Hwang. I see that Jay in the chat asked if we think Jurgen will start. I haven't seen an official update on his fitness yet. I mean, I think as we get closer to the end of this week, we will probably have some type of answer from Vitor once he has press availability. It's been kind of hush as of now, but I think it's probably going to end up being Hwang.
As a lover of speed, Alex, how excited are you to see the T'Challa to Arokadare assist?
Very excited. Yeah. I hope we get some of that. I do. I saw that already. He clocked the fastest sprint speed through the first 3 match weeks of Premier League action. We saw that stat about the Syria speeds, and then I believe Danny said actually his sprint speed that led that league was like the equivalent to Harvey Barnes, which I think dampened some of the excitement. But it just turns out maybe he didn't need to run all out in what is known to be a little bit more of a plodding league in Italy. So he's got it in the tank. So we could still say that he is a little bit of a cheetah. I'm excited to see that. I actually feel like of the new signings, and I know we've talked about them a couple of times, but I wasn't on last week. I would say I had almost the least amount of excitement for him, but have been the most impressed of all of them so far. So I'm excited to see. And we haven't seen Tolu, so I feel like if we could see that link up, maybe that could be something special for sure. They have the physical attributes. That's all there. So let's just hope we get some end results.
Paul, after you saw that tweet about T'Challa's speed, you had to be like, oh, Lord, here's Josh's latest obsession.
It was funny because you had all of those rapid bursts of speed, and then I think it was a tweet from Gully at Molyneux Musings about how nothing actually came of any of them apart from one of them who actually got on the end of the ball. So the real test for that is to see him make it, burn off an opponent, and then what his final delivery is like. If it happens to lead to an assist, I could be like a rabid convert, but I've got to see it first.
Rabid convert. I like it. All right, guys, let's look at the prediction league here. Surprisingly, none of us got points for the League Cup game against West Ham because we all either thought they would lose or win in penalty kicks, and it went to neither. However, we all got a point with the Everton game because we had no faith in Wolves. So, Danny, we're going to start with you. You're already in the lead with 3 points. What are you thinking against Newcastle?
Yeah, I think it's funny. I want to reflexively say it's going to be such a tough game because, we're having a tough time and Newcastle are so strong. But then I think back to that game against Liverpool, and they really, that was a bruising game for them. Anthony Gordon got a red card, obviously. There was the whole Isak drama happening. And I think there were a couple injuries that came out of that as well. So I don't know. There's like part of me that wants to hope for something, but I think I'm going to back Alan's prediction and go with 2-1. Huge question mark about who starts up front for us because it could be one of 3 different people. So,
all right, Alex, what are you thinking?
Yeah, my inclination was to go with a Newcastle win as well. I agree with Alan. I just feel like they are better than what their current spot in the table is, and I don't really see that continuing. I guess to not be boring and the same as Danny, I'll just say 3-1. That way maybe one of us can take some type of a step in the actual standings. So 3-1.
3-1 Newcastle. Wow. Okay. Paul?
We due a result up there. Like it's been seasons since we actually got anything from St. James's Park, but I just can't see it, whatsoever. I'm just hoping that by some chance of fate that it's like a reset after this international break and something clicks and we catch a break or a penalty or something just crazy out the ordinary. So with no rhyme or reason, I should probably slap myself in the face as I'm saying this, but I'm going to go for a Wolves 1-0 win.
Yeah, Paul. Love it. I love it, but they're not getting a shutout, I'm afraid. But I do have some positive thoughts like yourself. So I don't think they'll win, but I'm going to go with the old 1-1 draw with Arokadari hitting the tying goal in the 83rd minute. Coming off the bench.
I'd celebrate that.
Yeah, I'd be happy.
No Stupid Questions is brought to you by Esfuerzo Wines. Located just north of Santa Barbara, California, Esfuerzo Wines showcases passion and 3 generations of winemaking in every bottle. Whether you're toasting some Vino de Vitor or winding down after a day of work, let Esfuerzo Wines transport you to the heart of wine country with each sip. Now at esfuerzowines.com, you can use the promo code VITOR, that's VITOR, at checkout to receive a 30% discount off your order. And don't forget to try the special edition 1-pack wines to show your passion and support for Wolves with each glass. This message is intended for those of legal drinking age. Do not drink and drive. Excessive alcohol consumption may be harmful to your health. If you or someone you know is struggling with alcohol abuse, please seek help. Esfuerzo Wines reminds you to enjoy their product responsibly and in moderation.
All right, it's that time of the show where we open it up to the listener. We get you involved by answering questions you've submitted either on our social media channels or through email. hello@wholelotofwolves.com is where you can reach us there, or you could even participate right here in the chat in the live stream in real time for those who are watching live. It's of course brought to you by Esfuerzo Wines. 30% off your order by adding the coupon code VITOR at checkout at esfuerzowines.com. So let's start with New England Wolves on X, who ask, is the international break the best chance for Wolves not to concede a goal this week? Now, Paul's got a clean sheet in his prediction. I don't know. Maybe he's feeling a little lineup shift and a little Krejci coming in and fixing things. I'm not sure.
Or maybe a little Mosquera.
Ooh.
Yeah, no minutes for
Is
Mosquera.
Agbadu in there or not, Paul?
Like, no, if he's going to, if he's towing that sign line as he did with Andre, then he doesn't get the start. But it's about bodies and minutes after the international break. So I think that may be his only saving grace.
Yeah. let's get to Dallas Wolves. All the Wolves supporters clubs chiming in this week from different areas of the nation. They ask whose alcohol consumption has gone up since the start of this new campaign. Now, Josh, I see you're drinking a beer, so technically yours, for podcasting purposes, has gone down.
Yeah, I didn't have my usual A&W root beer as a mixer, so I went with the Bears are playing tonight, so I went with the beer.
Right, nice. In a frozen boot, or is that a boot, or is it just a mug?
It's just a frosted glass.
Okay. I thought for some reason.
And I have a little draft machine to put it in there, and it makes it all
Wow.
come out like draft. It's nice.
That's good stuff. Has anyone seen their habits change? I will briefly say, and this was more college football driven, but after the Everton match, in a situation where I would usually probably stay and kind of like drink my sadness away on that Saturday, it got absolutely mobbed with Texas fans, and I just couldn't stand to be in that crowd, so I went home and then just kind of called it early. So I guess technically I'm pacing lower than I normally would be in a Wolves season. How about you, Danny? I mean, no celebratory beers.
Yeah, I think people can probably guess that I drink more when we win. So
Yeah.
Like Vitor, probably been a bit more healthy recently. I feel like whenever we lose, and especially if it's like a tough loss and I'm feeling it, I'm like way more aware of my alcohol consumption. Like I'm like, no, you shouldn't sad drink. like it's okay to have a beer, but maybe don't get drunk. Whereas when we're winning, all caution goes out the window.
I will say I'm very glad that Everton game, I was staying with my big brother who doesn't drink, because Alabama lost as well, and I would have been drinking away a lot of sadness that night.
Yeah, that was a rough day for you sporting wise.
It was less than ideal.
Yeah. Drew Freakin on X. With Agbadou and Menetsi's recent form, will AFCON really be so bad? Or will Vitor find some answers from within, i.e. Krejci for Lopez? Paul, what do you think about this? It seems like we're all worried about this period, but maybe we'll stumble upon some jewels we already have in the squad.
Or what happens if their form is so bad they drop out of international recognition? That's no good at all, because we'd be left with them. Certainly Menezes. And again, I'm going in on him. He's fine off the bench. He can come on and close the game out. Plays an advanced midfielder in a 3 if we're holding on to a game. But please don't have him start when you got someone like for Lopez on the bench, please, Vitor.
Oh, Menezes. Who can we compare? I mean, I feel like Menezes is to Vitor as Doc was to Nuno, where no matter what they did, they were never coming off the pitch.
Yeah. I don't know. I think Doc's still excited more than Menezes has, though. For me, maybe I'm just misremembering and like thinking of him too fondly. But yeah, it's a tough one. It's tough to find another comparison, though. So we can roll with that.
Other than Lodge and his imaginary number 9.
Yeah, exactly. A second question from Drew, by the way. Would you take 17th right now, but you're guaranteed to lose either Joao or Andre next summer? Would you take it?
100%. Don't even. Yeah, I mean, we're going to lose one of them or both of them next year anyway. So,
yeah. Well, the thing is, you lose them if you're relegated, and you lose them if you stay up, probably, because they're going to be like, I'm not sticking around for another year.
What are you trying to say?
Yeah, so I guess you just have to stay up and then try to do this whole thing over again and have a failed rebuild that we all have to sit through, and a terrible transfer. I actually hate this question. It's not Drew's fault. I hate it because it's just like so. It's like there's no winning. There's no right answer for Wolves in this. Like either way, it sucks. I feel
that's
like.
Okay. I'll bring it down even further and say that people often forget that like if a team gets relegated, it's often because their players aren't that good, you know?
Right,
And
right,
so
right.
like
That's a good point.
I think we like assume that Zhao and Andre are going to go if we get relegated. And I think it's probably more than likely, but at the same time, like if we get relegated, it's partly going to be because Andre continues to play the way that he has for the first 3 weeks. So like in a whole season's worth of game time where he's playing at that level, I don't know that it's quite as like we just assumed last season, like this guy's so good, it's only a matter of time. But if we have a whole season's worth of him only being so, it becomes a lot less likely. So I don't know. It's like, that's the other side of this. We sort of talked at one point about like, you know, the standing of these players in the international teams and whatever, but it's like, well, they also have to want to step up. They can be as grumpy as they want about, you know, like Wolves not playing well and them not getting into the Brazil team or whoever, you know, but like, I don't know. We don't know what's going on behind the scenes. And it's not like Andre has been like lighting it up the first 3 weeks. So.
Yeah. Joey asks in the chat, speaking of Andre, does anyone else feel that the issue with Andre earlier this season resulted in him leaving in the winter window?
No, I don't think so.
You know, nobody can come in and tempt Jeff with I don't know, 25 million or something like that.
I mean, I think it's not out of the realm of possibility, especially if he's upset about something. But that being said, I think what Josh has in his mind is like, that's a big risk for Andre to go somewhere else in the final 6 months before the World Cup. And he's trying to play himself into the team. You know, where can he go realistically that he will have a better chance of being in the Brazil team? That's going to be a tough move for him. So, I mean, like, you know, could the money come in that would be right for us to sell? Possible, but it's tricky.
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting winter window because, like Danny said, if you're leaving a club, like you have to know for 100% like you're going to be playing 75, 80 minutes every game when you go. Because some of these where it's like, yeah, you'll come in and be a bench. Like I wouldn't see him going to one of the big six because I don't think. Well, maybe United he'd start, but
yeah, I mean he would. So if they get that urge because they're not going to get Baleba, like I don't know, maybe. But it's just, I guess it's just, I think we have to be at peace with losing one or both of them because it's inevitable and it's going to happen. And also, if it happens in that fashion, that like the question was, you know, asked under those circumstances, then this midfield duo didn't do shit for us anyway. Like, and we've been like crying out for ages to have more varied midfielders, and we just don't. And we don't even have backups to the ones that we do have.
If backup midfielders are your thing, Wolves may not be for you, Alex.
But seriously, it's like and then we just like we send out any midfielder who's not like a clone of these guys who might dare to bring something different to the table because they don't fit the manager's system. But then the manager's benching arguably one of our best players because he's not like giving, I don't know, he's not performing up to that level. It's just a no-win situation there. So a little disheartening. Can I kind of like just add one minor sub question to this question?
Yeah.
Like, is there a chance that in the winter window we gain a midfielder instead? Or am I just like smoking crack? Like what, like that would just be insane, right? To bring one of those in.
I bet it's on loan though.
That's fine. Like,
yeah, I'd be fine. I don't know why like we loan everybody else, but we don't know how to bring in loans ourselves.
Yeah, I don't get it.
It's like they knew that Paul would immediately fall in love with the loan, so immediately they're like, "Yep."
Yeah, hard to have a love affair with an option to buy if we don't have options or loans with options built into them. So anyway, Josh, you had something you wanted to ask to wrap up.
Yeah, so I went to the Houston Dynamo game on Saturday with my wife and one of her coworkers and a friend. And I looked at my friend because he goes to a lot of the Dynamo games, and I said, "You know what I'm getting after the game?" And he's like, "That damn grilled hot dog from that 10-year-old kid." And that's right. When you're walking outside of the Houston Dynamo Stadium, there is a 10-year-old kid manning a grill. He's got grilled onions, grilled peppers, grilled hot dogs. He had it wrapped in bacon today. Wraps it up. $10 hot dog. Look, a little on the pricey side, but hits the spot. My wife did not believe me that it was going to be a 10-year-old kid till we walked out. I'll post the photo online tonight. But yeah, it was. Anyways, I always get that when I'm leaving the Houston Dynamo game. It's fantastic. So when you are leaving the stadium, what is your food that you're craving every time? And I feel like Paul's going to have a very good Wolverhampton answer.
Mine was based on pure repetition after the match of going through a few beers and then a Nando's.
Solid.
Yeah. Then if you really stayed out, if you saw it all the way through to after closing time, you'd do a Nando's, more beers, and then a curry. But that was a really long night. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Doubling down.
Yeah.
Like that.
Paul, next up, we have to go to a Dynamo game sometime, so you can see the hot dogs from the 10-year-old grill master. Who's always give him a couple extra bucks just for him too, because he's working hard.
I feel like I'm like really basic with when I'm at that point and I've had so many drinks and it's been like a long day. I don't have the brain power to think of anything original or cool, so I usually just default to like a McDonald's. And it's so easy to order, and I usually order it on my way home, and then it's like at my door when I arrive on Uber Eats. So it's just like there's no waste of time. It's just like as soon as my last bite is done, I'm like going to bed. Like that's
what
how
is the
I
go-to
end my
McDonald's
sessions.
for you?
Oh, I mix it up quite a bit, but typically, I would say there's definitely a Big Mac. Usually just the sandwich, and then I'll just do like 2 sandwiches instead of the fries. And then sometimes if I'm ordering with someone else, also mix in some chicken nuggets. So I would say like it's pretty much like a Big Mac, not the meal of the sandwich, a McChicken or a 10-piece chicken nugget with it, which is pretty universal.
Man, those dollar McChickens hit the spot sometimes.
Oh yeah, that's one of the few things that's still pretty well priced at fast food throughout the country, I would say. Joey says pretzel soaks up the beer. I got another one for you. Yesterday was first NFL Sunday of the season for all of us here in the United States. Obviously, that's for those who are really into football. It's a big deal. I knew at about 12:30 when I had like 3 sips of my beer, and it was the first thing that I consumed other than like the 1 glass of water that I drink when I wake up, that I was already going to have quite a day because I started to feel a little abnormal. And I ordered pretzel bites, and I have to say it leveled me out, and it really does. It works, people. So there's a reason beer and pretzel is a thing. Like there's
those Germans.
The Germans were onto something. They know how to manage football. They know how to build cars. They can do some other things. And the pretzels and beer, it works.
I'll be the one who says if they know how to manage football.
Yeah. I love Todd gave the most Minnesota answer ever. Fried cheese curds in a pint.
Oh,
that's
yeah.
like, I could see Minnesota and Wisconsin. That's very obvious.
He's just baiting us with that answer. That's like ridiculous that he goes that far into upper Midwest culture. That
Man,
way.
you leave Colorado and look what happened to you, Todd.
For me, the food that always like is just associated with sporting events for my early days of going to DC United games is pupusas. And so like now if I'm going to a soccer game, I've gone down to DC. So we're throwing out the idea of I'm walking out of a stadium because at that point I'm trying to get to my car and get home. But if I were coming back from a game and it were, not 2 a.m. or something, I am definitely calling up the pupusa place near my house. It's just like, for me, it's perfect. Not only does it obviously soak up the beer, there's a bit of cheese, but also it's one of those places where like there's a range of amounts of food. So like there are times where it's like, I haven't eaten dinner and I went to this place and drank 3 beers and now I'm in trouble. So like I need to actually eat food versus like, okay, I just like had a whole night at this sporting event. I'm just going to like have a little nibble, have a couple pupusas with the little curtido in there. That's so perfect. And
Fancy.
Then off to sleep.
That's way fancier than my grilled hot dog.
If you saw the place that's by my house, you wouldn't say it's that fancy.
Why didn't you take us there?
That's a great question. We should have gone.
Yeah.
We didn't have that much time. I will say that they've fixed it since, but there used to be a bucket of, I think it was a bucket of Modelo that was priced so that if you got the 5 beer bucket, it was a better deal than if you got the 6 beer bucket. That like the 5 beer was like worked out to like $4 a beer, but the 6 one worked out to $5 a beer. So they were like that last beer cost you like $7 or something. They clearly did not do the math right. Someone must have figured it out eventually.
Paul, Danny took us to this coffee shop right by where he lived. And I know because your wife's Hispanic, you'll appreciate this. They had a horchata coffee, which was stupendous.
Yeah. Horchata iced latte. One of the best things I've ever had. It's so good.
I can confirm it was one of the best coffee drinks I've ever had. It was fantastic.
Let's as much as I love talking about food instead of wolves, especially this season so far, let's wrap with this, which is wolves adjacent. You knew it was gonna come around. Nuno Espirito Santo was relieved of his duties. It was not his choice today by Nottingham Forest. And Drew from Pittsburgh asks in the chat here on the live stream our thoughts on the sacking. And I'm sure many people might be asking because who knows who might have a vacancy soon. Paul, what do you think?
Wait. Just to clarify, I want to point out that they put out a tweet about Nottingham Forest did at 12:15 a.m. UK time. So they already don't necessarily think that it's going to be very popular. And I just want to read
That was a news dump.
The wording of the person. Nottingham Forest Football Club confirms that following recent circumstances, Nuno Espirito Santo has today been relieved of his duties as head coach. The recent circumstances phrasing is so good.
I mean, you're giving them a lot of credit thinking that they released it late so that it could get like buried in the news cycle. And it wasn't just a decision that Marinakis made at like 11 p.m. after like a few bottles of Ouzo or something like that. But no, you probably are right. I mean, we all knew this was coming. I don't know what to make of this. It's a super weird one with Team in Europe. What do you think, Paul? Like, there's part of me that is like, Marinakis is an absolute psychopath, but he has ambition.
Yeah.
Like, is that a decent trade-off? But
you never go back, do you? Really? You shouldn't anyway, you know. But even with that, Nuno's probably thinking, I've worked for Jeff Shee, Daniel Levy, Marinakis. Is like Jeff Shee the best of a really bad bunch?
Oh,
you know. So I don't
maybe
know.
the atoms were aligning.
But like he was linked at another time, wasn't he? There was definitely some speculation that we'd had him lined up potentially. I just can't remember when it was. He was still in Saudi, I think. So was that? I can't even think when it was. Was it after Lopetegui before? No, Lopetegui went straight into O'Neill. So I don't know, but my gut tells me to enjoy what it was, and there's no return. But there's just that he'll always be on the horizon. I just hope that he quickly gets a decent job elsewhere in Europe, so we haven't got to worry about it.
I tell you what, I would take him coaching the U.S. men's national team. That.
Yeah.
Wow.
100%. He'd get those guys in line.
Yeah, there's about 0% chance. Even if we didn't already have Pochettino, there's like, even if it was still BJ Callahan or like fucking Jay Berhalter or some bullshit, like there's no way he's like, I don't know, US soccer, we could do a whole extra hour on this, but it's like, they needed that star power, so that's what they went with. And Nuno, I think his stock is extremely high, but he doesn't really have that star power.
I do think he'd fit in well at a national team, though, because it seems what kind of works against him is his day-to-day personality starts to wear. So with a national team, if you're going to be hard on him for like, a couple weeks here and there, I think that might be better received than him coaching a club. Just my opinion.
Yeah. I am curious if Vitor were to not make it through this season, and you had two options. One was going back with Nuno, and the other was another Portuguese who said he does want to coach in the Premier League again, who was recently fired from his job in Turkey, who is looking for a job, who might just be too explosive to get the Forest job. Who would you choose? Mourinho or Nuno to come in and take this over before our January spending spree when we're rock bottom of the table?
Nuno, 100%. Mourinho, oh, that would be. Can you imagine him and Jeff Shee?
I've always kind of wanted to see it just because
me
it'll
too.
be a hilarious dumpster fire, but yeah, it'd have to be Nuno. But I think that like for similar reasons, it's just like not going to happen. There were rumors that his relationship with Jeff Shee had gone south near the end of his time at Wolves, and we obviously don't know the details of that. And I think in our current moment, we're more likely to side with Nuno than Jeff Shee. But still, it's like it would have to be pretty extraordinary circumstances for Jeff Shee to go back to an ex, in that scenario. I think what would have to happen is like fan sentiment against Jeff Shee in particular would have to be at like such a low that it's like this would be kind of an easy win, where it's like, no, it's okay. I'll show them that, like, I'll bring back the beloved coach or whatever. But yeah, I don't see either being particularly likely.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I don't know. I hope we're not in the conversation of the manager carousel. However, it feels like we could be heading there. And it's crazy that this thing is kicking off already on September 8th. With Forest who are in Europe. It's just mad. So there's going to be some crazy stuff and some crazy movement. That's going to do it for No Stupid Questions. Thanks to our friends at Esfuerzo Wines, esfuerzowines.com. Use the promo code VITOR. That's where you will get a 30% discount off of your order. And thanks to all of you, the listeners who chimed in with your questions, either on our Whole Lot of Wolves social accounts or here live in the chat on the live stream. Appreciate it.
Brings our preview show to an end for this week. So thanks to Danny on the socials, Alex producing, and you, our wonderful audience, because this exists for you. You'd be doing us a huge favor than helping to grow Whole Lot of Wolves by giving us a 5-star review wherever you catch your podcasts, along with subscribing to the Whole Lot of Wolves YouTube channel and liking our content on there. If you remember back a few weeks ago in the summer special series, we had the author Jake Perry on to talk about his new book, Knights in Gold Satin, and that was actually released today. So try and support Jake. It's going to be an immensely entertaining read about Wolves' history back when we were the kings of the world. So it's available on Amazon internationally, so you can pick up a copy and get it sent over here. So we're going to be back this time next week, reviewing everything what happens in that Newcastle game, and then preview an important home clash against dirty Leeds. So if you're going to be enjoying a nice Tolo tea this week, put that pinky up in the air and tell everybody up the mighty Wolves.